Guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as the Financial Bunny. Welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. Today we're answering the question, hey Nicolette, should I be taking out a home loan right now to finance my dream house? I want to buy a home. I just don't know if it's the right time to be able to buy a house or not. Now, I just want to start off by saying, please do remember, none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody that is certified and registered with the FSCA. So this question is such a loaded question because it's not about what herd mentality says to you. It's not about what Twitter says to you. It's not about what Nicolette says to you, but rather assessing your own financial situation and asking yourself, can I afford to buy a house right now? That's step number one. Because at the end of the day, it's called personal finance for a reason. However, it is important for me to stress this part out. However, certain market and economic conditions can create a situation where even you, as good as you may think things are, it is maybe better for you when you look at the numbers to wait or to go out and buy. So I'm going to give you the education today behind all of the supposed science around all of this. And you can then take that education and make a decision for yourself. So let's start off with what market condition could create a situation whether you're deciding to buy or to sell. There's a phenomenon called a buyer's market, a buyer's and a seller's market. Right? Now, very simple. A buyer's market, the buyers have bargaining and negotiating power. Law of supply and demand says that in a buyer's market, there's more supply than the demand. So there are more people who are selling versus people who are buying. On the other hand, a seller's market is inversely the opposite, right? So it means that there is more demand for property, yet there's just not enough supply in the market. Now, let's look at the current situation. If you look at the current situation, it may give us the indication that there is a buyer's market currently underway. However, to really say there is a national buyer's market would be overstating it. Generally, what happens, especially in property in South Africa, what we see is that from province to province to province, there is certain different scenarios that you may find. And that is also because of the different types of profiles of people who buy property or who invest in property. Very important. So maybe before I get into all of that, let's talk a little bit about what creates a buyer's market, because currently that's what we're being told is happening in South Africa, that there is a huge buyer's market because of various reasons. One, we can start off with one. One is very clear. Inflation is flaring up. The cost of living has gone up. Some people need to let go of their properties. If you remember back to lockdown, some people lost their income, some people got retrenched. Some people just could not make enough money to be able to afford that monthly installment to keep their properties. So what did they need to do? They needed to sell. From a political perspective, South Africa is in an instability when it comes to the political landscape. Therefore, some people are moving out of the country. They're emigrating to other countries and they need to let go of their properties. Some of them would keep them, rent them out. Some people need to let them go so that they can actually get some money so that when they do move into these new countries, they've got a little bit of a cushion, a financial cushion. Then, of course, we also have to keep in mind that sometimes seasonally, there are various markets when it comes to the property. There are seasons where people are economically more active in purchasing or selling property, and in some seasons, people are just not. Then there's another thing called inflation of the pricing of houses, right? So the prices of housing, if it skyrockets, it means that a lot more people do not qualify. Because the thing about a lot of us is that we think we're buyers, but you can only be a buyer if you are qualified to actually buy. And the qualification of buying is based on affordability and it's based on your credit status. So can a bank actually give you money to go and buy a property, or do you have enough in your savings to be able to go buy a property? Let's talk about a cash buyer. If you're a cash buyer, this is probably the perfect market for you to be able to buy in, because this is where you're going to find a whole lot of opportunities. Because it's a buyer's market, it means that sellers are kind of under pressure. Why? Because let's assume you're going to the north of Johannesburg, and that's where you want to buy. And you're looking for 2-bedroom apartments. I kid you not. If you go right now and you put in 2-bedroom, 1-bed apartments in the north of Johannesburg, you can even choose one isolated area, like for instance, Douglasdale, and you are going to get an influx of properties. I've done this, I did this last year because I was looking to sell one of my properties and I wanted to gauge how much people were willing to pay. You would probably get a page with maybe a result of 2 pages. Now you're getting 5+ pages of 2-bedroom apartments that are in the market right now and people are trying to sell them. So there is a higher supply of property. The law of supply and demand says that when the supply is higher and the demand is lower, it means that the buyers, the guys who are on the demand side, they ultimately can praise and negotiate the pricing. If you're not going to sell it to me at the price that I want, I'm going next door. If they're not going to sell me at the price that I want, I'm going to the next person. And I can use all 3 of you guys to really massage out a price that I really want. The last factor that obviously is going to affect whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market is going to be the rising of interest rates, or the hiking of interest rates rather. Now, we've seen so many hikes of the interest rate. The latest one that happened, 50 basis points, taking the prime lending rate to 11.25%. Now, there are 2 things that is going to create. One, affordability. Affordability is, can you afford the new monthly installment that you are going to get if this credit facility is approved and you are giving you your home loan? Can you afford the installment every single month? Now, that is the one part that everybody understands, that the higher the interest rate, the more you're going to pay every single month. We've seen it. If you've got a home loan right now, you probably have received your rate increase letter. They have told you that you are going to pay more. Now, the one that a lot of people don't actually think about is the affordability one. The reality is, if interest rates are hiked, it means that for many people, they may not qualify for the facility that they actually are looking for. What do I mean by this? I want you to take the scenario of a 1 million rand property that you are looking to buy, right? Forget the 1 million property. Let's use your income as an example to paint the picture. Let's assume you are part of the top 2% in South Africa and you earn a gross income of 50,000 Rand a month. So your take home is plus or minus 34,000 Rand. If we don't factor in any other expenses, now let's be fair, in a real situation, there is grocery, there is school fees for many people, there is living expenses, there is insurance policies, and in some cases, there may be debt that is still being serviced. But let's have an ideal situation where your take-home is 34,000 Rand, or 34,000+ Rand, and you've got no expenses that we're factoring in. If you take it back to 2020 and you use the prime lending rate of 2020, which was 7%, you qualify for a home that is around 1.9 million Rand. So the bank says, at that income, with no expenses, we're willing to give you a facility of 1.9 million Rand. Fast forward to 2023, same income, no expenses, 50,000 Rand gross, 34,000 Rand net. You now can only qualify for a house around 1.4 million. That's 500,000 Rand difference. The qualification is so important. So what do people do? Then they sit back and they're like, yeah, but I need a 2 million Rand house. I can put down a deposit, but I need a 2 million Rand house. So actually, at this new interest rate, I actually cannot afford it at the prime lending rate. That means you either need to negotiate. You need to negotiate out of your ears to get 7% so that you can qualify for the 1.9 million, put down a deposit, and maybe you can buy a 2 million Rand house. Or you wait. You wait for the interest rate to come down, or you increase your income. So it's one or the other. And that's why it's important to understand the education behind it and the mathematics behind it so that you can get a better picture of whether or not it's the right time for you. The reality is, yes, everybody's going to say, maybe the right time for me, maybe the right time for this person, maybe the right time for this person. But the reality at the end of the day is that you still need to be able to understand how the numbers work so that you can make that decision. I saw there was an argument the other time on a social media platform around, but property prices are not going to go down, whatever. Guys, that's not how you buy properties. You don't buy properties based on the fact that property prices are not going to go down. You buy based on what can you afford. You can't sit there and snare at property prices. It doesn't make sense. How do you snare at property prices? Oh, I'm sitting waiting. I'm waiting. Do you take advantage of the buyer's market? Yes, you do. And you negotiate. But even when it's not a buyer's market, you still negotiate. You just have better bargaining power now. So this is the education I'm going to leave you with. You decide on your own with your financial planner and your money management accountability partner whether it's the right time for you. But maybe let's take a look at the other numbers before I let you guys go. On the other numbers, let's talk about affordability now. If we're looking at affordability, basically, it means that, let's say, for instance, you're looking for a facility of 1 million rand. At a facility of 1 million rand, right, at 11.25%. For a facility of 1 million rand, and you are going to get the 11.25%. Over 20 years, your bond is going to be 10,500, plus or minus 10,500. At the interest rate, the prime lending rate of 11.25%. If you were to look back to 2020, when the interest rate was 7%, you potentially could have paid every month, just give me 2 seconds so I can find it, a 1 million rand home in 2020, where the interest rate was 7%, you could have potentially paid a monthly installment of 7,700, plus or minus 7,700. Mathematics, guys. It's all math. All of it is math. And it's very important that you understand the mathematics. And these calculators, by the way, are free. Yes, they are not perfect because they just factor in what you put in there. Obviously, with all of this, the purchase price, you may have a deposit, you may have a terrible interest rate, a credit report, you may have a good credit report or good credit score rather, terrible credit score. It might change some of the variables. However, these are the type of numbers that you're probably going to be working around with. So it's important that even before you ask the question, should I be buying or not, you've already done this exercise. Do this exercise. Come back and say, look, Nicolette, if I wait it out and the interest rate gets dropped, then I qualify for a specific amount of money and I can buy the home that I actually want. Or Nicolette, actually my income is going to increase. Maybe I should wait it out. Or I'm going to look for a new job and I'm gunning for a better income. Then I think I should be ready to buy a home. Or actually I'm going to pay off some debt. Then I'm going to have a better qualification or chance to qualify and a better amount. Or actually, I'm going to get a better income. I still want to qualify for the 1 point whatever, but I want to negotiate my interest rate so that it's much lower in the long run. So knowing which of these variables you need to push and press and squeeze and you know, it's good for you to be able to make that decision for yourself. Okay, I'm going to leave it right here. I'll see you guys on the next video when we discuss another financial concept. Okay, bye.